Welcome back, Gravity Formers. It's day 2 of the No Code Needed event. I hope you enjoyed day 1. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, I'll link it up in the show notes below. There was a lot of awesome presentations. Morgan from our team showed off how to style Gravity Forms in the editor with our new image multiple choice field. Dave from Gravity Wiz dazzled us with the power of his provocative perks. And there was so much more. Today, we're kicking off with our certified developer friends at Gravity Kit, which you don't want to miss. Please share today's stream on social media and spread the word about how awesome Gravity Forms is. And don't forget, this No Code Needed event is celebrating 50% off at Gravity Forms this week. Head on over to gravityforms.com and purchase any license for 50% off. No code needed. Gravityforms.com, save 50% off. What could be better this holiday week? Well, today's live stream, of course. Okay, let's kick it off.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zach with Gravity Kit.
Hey, everybody. I'm Casey with Gravity Kit.
And we're going to be demonstrating some functionality that people use with no code needed. And a lot of nonprofits use our tools. And Casey's put together some great demonstrations of how nonprofits might want to use Gravity Kit tools to display donations. Is that right, Casey?
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to even take it one step further by building a whole fundraising dashboard where you can track donations and you can see totals and donations over time. And it's going to have charts and calculations and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah, and so many nonprofits use Gravity Forms for their donation form. And then what? You connect it to your newsletter, maybe you connect it to some reporting platform. I don't know, but Gravity Kit has this all built in, so you don't need to leave your WordPress space to do all this stuff. It's all your marketing and donor relations can be done from inside WordPress with Gravity Kit and Gravity Forms.
Yeah, exactly. Gravity Kit provides a suite of add-ons for Gravity Forms, and essentially it takes Gravity Forms from a form builder to an app builder, where you can build like front-end displays for your data. You can create charts. You can perform calculations on that data. You can even do reporting. And our add-ons integrate really nicely together. And we're going to show you an example of that today with this dashboard, which combines 3 of our add-ons, which is Gravity View, Gravity Charts, and Gravity Math.
Nice. Yeah, and while you're watching, if you're not a nonprofit, that's fine. This applies to so many different industries. For example, schools for child and parent relationships and reporting which classes have field trips, for example. We have somebody who set that up who saved tens of thousands of dollars per year compared to a SaaS platform that they were using. They set it all up with Gravity Forms and Gravity Kit. So think outside the box while we're showing you this, even if it's not necessarily perfectly aligned with what you do. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Casey, let's do this.
Yeah, let's get into it. I'll just share my screen here, and we'll just go through the dashboard. Can you see that, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, so this is a fundraising dashboard that I set up. And here at the top, we can see like the total amount raised. We've got the total donations here on the right. And then scrolling down a little bit, we have these 2 nice graphs where we can see the amount raised by month on a column chart. And then we have a line chart showing the donations, the actual number of donations per month. And then at the bottom here, we've got this nice table which has information about each of the donations that we've received, including the name of the donor, their contact info, the date it was received, and the amount of the donation. So at the top here, these totals are being displayed with our add-on Gravity Math, which allows you to perform calculations on your form data. And then below that, we have these charts being displayed with Gravity Charts, which allows you to create really beautiful, modern-looking charts without any code. to display data from Gravity Forms. And then finally at the bottom, this table is being displayed with Gravity View, which is our flagship add-on, which essentially allows you to display Gravity Forms data, but you can do a lot more than that. And this whole dashboard is put together in the Gravity View interface. So like I mentioned, our add-ons all integrate nicely together.
Right. So this is one Gravity view with different widgets added to the top of it.
Yeah, exactly. So all of these blocks here are different widgets, and then we have the actual field data from our form being displayed here in the table.
And one of the cool things that you can do with Gravity View is you can say, I want to filter by cause, and have a search bar that allows you to filter and drill down into different aspects of your data. So you can say, only show me entries that are for food drives. And then it will update all the charts and all the numbers for that category alone. So it's a really nice way to be able to drill down into your data and get a better understanding of it.
Yes. And it's worth mentioning there's a lot of other functionality that is available. So yeah, it's a very, very flexible platform, and there's a lot you can do. And to kind of show that, I'd like to just go through an example of building this dashboard again from scratch. And so you can get an idea of, how easy this is to put together.
Yeah, take it away. I'm going to hop off while you do this so that there's a bigger screen here for people to watch.
Okay, no problem. Cool. So like I mentioned, all of this data is coming from Gravity Forms. So assuming you are, collecting donations via a form, which might look like this, for example, a simple Gravity form where they can, donors can input their name and their contact info, choose the amount that they want to donate. And you would, of course, integrate some sort of payment add-on here to collect donations. But this is just an example. And then we're taking that data and we're visualizing it in various ways here on this dashboard. So that's what's happening here. And I'm going to go through, a quick example of how to actually build this dashboard from scratch. So I'll quickly show you what it looks like in the back end. This is the Gravity View builder. And just like Zach was saying, we have widgets at the top here that were displaying the various calculations that we had, like the total amount raised and the total number of donations. And then we've got these two chart widgets here. And then we had all of our field data in the table, and that's what you can see here. And all of these fields you can drag and drop them to replace things. You can add new ones. It's a really simple visual interface to build these kinds of displays and dashboards. So if I head over here to my forms page, you can see I've got a few different forms set up here. This is my fundraising form, and I've just made a copy of it here so that we can go through the process of building this dashboard. You can see how easy it is. So what I want to start off with is creating the charts. So I'll create the charts first, and then we'll create the view and we'll bring everything together. So to start with the charts, I'm going to just hover over the settings link here and click on Gravity Charts. And I actually have these charts set up already here just to save a bit of time, but I'll just go through the different options and show you how we configured these. So every chart is set up as a feed here, and you can have as many charts as you want per form. So let me go ahead and edit this one. And you can see the first thing you need to do is just give the chart a name, which is for your reference. And then you can select a chart type. So Gravity Charts supports a number of different chart types, including bar charts, column charts, line, area charts, pie charts, polar area, and radar. And the type of chart you select here will depend on the kind of data you're working with and the type of visualization that you want. So I've chosen the bar/column chart here. And then coming down to the chart data panel, here is where you actually choose what data you want to display on the chart. So Gravity Charts gives you the option to display a single field, or you can show data on a timeline if you selected the bar chart or the line chart. So that's what I've decided to do here. And then I'm using the date field on my form for the x-axis, the time component. And then I've chosen a timeline type. And in this case, we want to choose what we actually, like what numerical data do we actually want to display. So in this case, I'm choosing the donation amount. That is the field from my form with the data that I want to display. And then I'm choosing to sum those values. So I'm going to show that data over time, and we're going to sum them for the time period that I select. So if I scroll further down, here is the chart configuration screen. And this is a live preview of the chart here. And then there's a bunch of different styling options here in these different panels. And you can kind of open them up. You can select a predefined color palette that matches with your website and your theme. And then the design panel has various options as well. And these options will be different depending on the type of chart that you selected. You can also add a title to your chart. You can add titles for the axes as well. That's over here. So x-axis and the y-axis. And then we have the option to add labels as well. So you can add data labels. Yeah, and then one really neat thing you can do if you open up the axis drop down here, you can choose the time scale, like I was mentioning before. So we're currently showing the sum of donations by month. But for example, you could change that to week, for example, or day even, or quarter. So there's really, plenty of different customization options here for creating different kinds of charts. Cool, so I think that's a good overview of Gravity charts. And now we have those two charts set up. I'm going to go ahead and continue with the dashboard.
Yeah, so before you do, Casey, I just want to clarify. So you created a Gravity Charts feed, and I see that there's a shortcode copy paste column there. Where can I embed Gravity Charts beyond just Gravity View?
Yeah, great question. So you can embed Gravity charts pretty much anywhere on your site. There's a shortcode here where you can paste into a page or a post or sidebar. But then we also have a WordPress block that you can use. So if you're using the block editor, you can use that to embed a chart anywhere on your site. And that can be a dynamic chart that actually updates when you get new values. Or it can even be a static image if you want.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things that you can do with Gravity Charts is, let's say you wanted to send an updated image of the current status of your fundraising campaign, and you wanted to embed a chart in your notification email when you get a new donation. You can do that with a merge tag that embeds a chart inside your email notification with an image of the data that you just saw. So it looks nearly identical, and it integrates with your Gravity Forms notifications emails too.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're using Gravity PDF, you can embed a chart in a PDF. There's so many options.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to it.
All right, cool. Yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually create the view in Gravity View. And then we'll start bringing all of this together to create our dashboard. So I'll go ahead and hover over Gravity Kit here and select New View. And now I'm going to give my view a name, Fundraising Dashboard 2. And then I need to select a data source for the view. And this is essentially just a form in Gravity Forms that has the data that I want to display on the front end. So I'll go ahead and choose the copy of my fundraising form. And now I can choose a view type. And the view type you select will depend on the type of data you're working with and the way that you want to display that data. Gravity View has a lot of different options. So you can display data in a basic table. We have the listing view, which is great for like directories, for example. We even have a maps integration where you can display Gravity Forms data on a Google map, which is great for like geolocation directories and store locators and things like that. And then we have, data tables option here, which is like a more advanced table with all kinds of filtering and sorting and exporting capabilities, and even a DIY layout where you can build your own layout from scratch. But to kind of keep things simple, I'm going to go ahead and just select the basic table layout. So here I am inside the view editor, and now I can start actually constructing my dashboard. So you'll see Gravity View adds a couple of things here for us by default. By default, we have this search bar at the top and a couple of other widgets. And the widget areas are really for tools that help in navigating your view or visualizing your data in different ways. So for example, search bars, these page links. I'm going to add our charts here in a minute. And then if we scroll down, we have an area where we can display the field values from our form. And in this case, we're using the table layout, so each of these will be a column in our table. And again, you can drag and drop these to reorder them. Let me go ahead and just save this real quick. You can drag and drop these fields to reorder them. And then, you can click the X here if you want to remove one. If you want to add another field, you can easily just open the field picker here and choose the form field that you want to show. So in this case, I want to show the donation amount. So I'm going to add that. And I think that looks pretty good. So I've got all the fields I need for my table. I just need to add my charts here and then the calculations that we had at the top. So what I'll do is I'll remove these widgets. And then I'll go ahead and add a widget here. That's going to be a Gravity Charts widget. And then I can click this gear icon to configure that. And I can select the chart that I want to display here. So this will be the amount per month. I'm going to do the same on the right side, add a Gravity Charts widget. And this will be the donations over time chart. So now I've got those set up, which is great. Missing a couple more things. So we had the total donations being displayed. If we go back to the original dashboard, we can see the total raised is here on the left, and then we have the total donations on the right. And I'm outputting these using Gravity Math, which essentially gives us a really powerful shortcode for doing all kinds of calculations with our Gravity Forms data. So this is the original dashboard, and you can see we have these widgets here. And if I open the widget settings, these are custom content widgets, which gives us this sort of handy text editor where we can add any kind of custom content, including shortcodes, even HTML code like you see here, or just plain text if you want. And you can also add Gravity Forms merge tags. So in this case, I've got a Gravity Math shortcode here, which is just simply calculating the sum of all donations from my donation form. And I have a little bit of HTML here, but that's just to center it nicely and make it look nice. It doesn't actually, that's not necessary at all for the functionality. But let me go ahead and copy that to our new dashboard. So what I'll do here is simply add a custom content widget. There we go. And I'll move it above the chart there. And I'll open it up, and you can see we've got this nice little text editor, and I'll just paste in everything that we had there. And then I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the right-hand side. Move it up, go back to our original dashboard, and then open that up, copy and paste. And again, we have a nice Gravity Math shortcode here, which is just calculating the amount, the number of donations that we've received, the total number. and I'll just paste that in here. So Zach, are you still with us? Are you following along here?
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, let me know if there's anything that I should clarify.
No, I'm loving it.
Okay, great. So we got our shortcodes there, which are outputting some calculations for us. We've got our two charts set up here, and we're almost ready to view this on the front end. I just need to do a couple of things. The first is on our original dashboard, which I'm on now, I added just a small bit of CSS code just to kind of style things a little bit. Again, it's not necessary for the functionality, but this is really easy to do in Gravity View, because we have this custom code panel where you can actually add your own CSS and your own JavaScript code if you want to customize things. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that over to the new dashboard as well by just scrolling down here to the View settings and then clicking on the custom code tab here on the left. There we go.
And we're happy to share this code with anybody who wants it. And we are also working on Elementor widget integrations and enhancing our Gutenberg, like our block editor block, and working on other integrations with other page builders, so that so that you can do a bunch more of this stuff without having to even copy and paste little code snippets, because this is no code needed. So yeah, but you'll see it's a visual update only, and that's just to tidy things up a little bit.
Yeah, and while the code is not needed, it's always nice to have the option.
Yeah.
If you want to customize things further, and yeah, so we provide that. So yeah, I think I've got everything here.
There's an extra widget row I see there. Oh, it disappeared because it was empty. That's great.
It was empty, so it's gone now.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So, there is one thing I need to do now that I've saved the view. I need to actually embed this on a page. So you can check out the view directly. So when you create a view, you get this link that is generated. But you can also embed views on a page or a post on your website, and you can do that either using a shortcode or a WordPress block. So to show you what that looks like, I'll just add a new page here and then quickly embed this view. My dashboard, and then I will search for the Gravity View block here. Add that to my page, and then I just have to select the view that I want to embed, and that'll be my fundraising dashboard too.
And if you click the preview toggle there, you can preview approximately what it looks like live in your block editor. For some reason, the widget CSS isn't rendering, but we'll fix that.
Cool. So let me publish the page, and then we'll see that on the front end. Yeah, so you can see it's exactly how we had it in the beginning. We've got these nice totals that are displaying here. Those are being output by Gravity Math, by the shortcode that I showed you. And then we have these beautiful charts that we created with Gravity Charts, and then all of our donation data. These are the actual form entries that are being displayed here in our table with Gravity View.
That's awesome. And this dashboard is really kind of designed for administrators, but let's say you have a fundraising form and you want to display donors on the front end right next to your donation form. We recently added a new feature that allows you to show initials instead of full names. So if you have a name field like Zach Katz, we added a functionality that you can say Zach K donated $100. And that makes it so you can easily have administrator dashboard with full donor information and a fundraising like donor wall right next to your donation form that shows anonymized information without email address and with name initials instead of full name. So it's got a nice ability to be secure and functional for administrators as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have an advanced filtering extension, which enables you to filter the entries that get displayed here based on conditional logic. So you can display things by user role or a number of other metrics. And that really
so
helps you
if you wanted
display...
if you wanted to show donors who donated to different fundraising initiatives, like this person donated to schools, this person donated to food drives, you can have a page for a food drive with a view embedded that only shows the donations for those food drives and the summaries of amounts, like the fundraising thermometer for that page and like for that initiative. So using Gravity View and Gravity Charts and Gravity Math, it all works so nicely for nonprofits to address so many different use cases that y'all face. My wife, Juniper, ran a nonprofit for years, and I know the struggles well that nonprofits face. And that's partly why we have a 50% nonprofit discount that nonprofits can use, because I know how tight nonprofit budgets are, and we really want to help you do your important work.
Yeah, and in fact, we have a number of nonprofits that use our tools. They're able to save, a lot of money, and some of them have, thousands of members. So, yeah, we're really confident that this is something that can benefit you.
Yeah. So once again, our Gravity Kit is perfect for nonprofits and other industries that need reporting dashboards that address a ton of different use cases. So if you have Gravity Forms data coming in, use Gravity Kit to display it, report, export. We take Gravity Forms to the next level and help you build the applications that are mission critical for your needs.
Yeah. So thanks a lot for
thanks for watching.
And we hope you enjoy the rest of No Code Needed.
Bye.
Dustin, welcome to your home here in Gravity Universe, YouTube, as it were, for this week's holiday special. That's what I've been calling it. The holiday special, No Code Needed event. You don't need a code to get up to 50% off at gravityforms.com if you're here for your holiday shopping. And who isn't this week in WordPress? You can get you can get your Gravity Forms license, 50% off. Dustin, welcome to your home here at YouTube.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be invited into my home.
Yeah.
My name's Dustin Henry. I'm the video producer here at Rocket Genius. I produce a lot of content for YouTube as well as our video library.
Things are changing in the content world for YouTube video, but you and I sort of like to keep things old school, as I like to say. Long form video, that's our jam. But we do other stuff here at Gravity Forms, TikTok, Instagram. How do you perceive YouTube as a content creator these days? There's a lot of folks in the WordPress world who are running, other little Gravity Forms products, right? They have add-ons, they have other plugins that augment Gravity Forms. They're in the WordPress space. They're selling themes, other plugins, and a lot of folks getting into YouTube, into content creation. Any tips or tricks or any outlook in content world for YouTube?
Yeah, so I think if you're getting into YouTube, if you're looking to kind of create your niche, it's important to do research on see what your competitors are doing, but also see what your competitors aren't doing, and see where you can kind of make your own thing and capitalize on that. So like one of the things I do regularly with Gravity products is just I'll do a basic Google search and histories and see what autocomplete fills in to see like what are people searching for and what content is not out there.
Yeah.
Because I think YouTube in general has become much more than just a place where people go to watch videos and relax. I mean, it definitely still is that, but I think it's also the hub of information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's if you're getting into YouTube, it's easy. If you're getting into anything, right? Like this is just I think the way like maybe a majority of humans learn. You see this thing, you see this person or company doing this thing, and you're like, oh, I want to do that too. So you just start copying exactly what they're doing, and you're trying to be like pop culture YouTuber, you're trying to be like a political YouTuber, like all the things that everyone's already doing, a tech review YouTuber, and it's fine to like go into that category, but understanding that don't just copy what everybody else is doing, right? Like don't just copy their playlist. Could work, but you also want to find that niche.
Yeah, and I think it's important to have the question of what makes my content unique in the back of your mind. Like what am I doing differently from everyone else? Like what am I setting myself apart? Why do people want to come watch my content specifically?
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of what makes content unique, let's go into sharing your screen to show off your unique thing of Gravity Forms that you love. You've joining a cast of characters that are all sharing their favorite stuff around Gravity Forms. So excited to see what you're diving into today.
Yeah, so I wanted to jump into one of my favorite features with Gravity Forms, which is conditional logic, because I think conditional logic is extremely useful and it's really easy to set up, and the thing, it's also just so powerful. You can do so much with it. So what I have here on screen is a survey form, and this is just our survey template out of the box, but I want to show how you can kind of use conditional logic with a survey to kind of personalize the user experience. So I'm going to add a paragraph text field to my form, and I'd like to use this field to collect feedback on how can we improve Acme products. And what I want to do with this is I want to have this paragraph field only show up if we get a rating below 5 stars. So that's where conditional logic is going to come in handy, because if we get 5 stars and everything like that, that's great. I don't want to bog the user's form experience down by having this like big paragraph text box if it's not needed. So if I select this field, I can scroll down here and there's a conditional logic flyout, and all I gotta do is toggle on enable conditional logic. And I'm going to add a couple rules here. So I want to show this field if rate Acme products is not excellent. And so excellent would be equivalent to 5 stars. If I move out of this real quick, I can show you the choices. You can customize these as need. So we've got the choices ranging from terrible at 1 star to excellent at 5 star. So this field will now show up anytime a rating is selected and it's less than 5 stars. I'm also going to add one additional rule, and I'm going to say rate Acme products show this field if Acme Products is not empty with no choices selected. And so what this will do is when I first load the page, before there's even a selection, it'll not load this "How can we improve Acme Products" paragraph field. So it'll only load it once the user has given us a rating. So I'm going to embed this in a page real quick. Save my changes. And we'll just hit publish. View page. And now, okay, so the page is loaded. I've got my form. And as you can see, I don't have the paragraph text box asking how can we improve. And when I select 5 stars, still don't have it. You can just continue going on, filling out the form. But the minute it drops down to 4, to 3, to 2, to 1, we have this "How can we improve" paragraph text box that shows up. And so that's an easy way to customize the form experience and make it tailored to the user experience, so that if a user's coming there and rating us 5 stars and doesn't need to give that kind of feedback, we're not bogging down their form experience with unnecessary fields that they don't need to fill out.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That interactivity is what makes a form just go the extra mile for most people.
And I wanted to show one other thing related to conditional logic, because you can use conditional logic outside the form experience itself. So if I go to the form settings here, and I take a look at our notifications, I've created a poor feedback notification. Now this is a notification I want to be sent out specifically when I get a 1-star review. So that way I could take action on it, maybe reach out to the person, contact them directly. So here I have the notification set up. And at the bottom here, I have a conditional logic toggle. And I can turn this on, and then I can set this to only send out this notification if Rate Acme Products is terrible. And I can update this. And now what'll happen is anytime we get a submission with this form, if there's a 1-star, if the user gave it a 1-star review, I'll get a special email at my email address notifying me that we've received a 1-star review, and I can take action on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll give you a chance to unshare your screen for a moment, and the conditional logic stuff is something that can make or break a great form, especially important forms like these survey feedbacks. If you do a sales form, a donation form, being able to adjust this stuff, is paramount to the success of a lot of businesses. And it shouldn't just be a one and done, like I've created this form, they submit it and it's done. You could even take it another step further with your example with conditional logic and conditionally show a different page that loads or message that loads afterwards. They didn't like your product, depending on what your, standard operating procedure is. Like if they gave you 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, you could show them, a page that says, sorry you didn't like the experience. Here's a discount code for next time or something like that, right? And really start to interact with that user so that it's not just sent off to the inboxes. Then people can actually interact with the page. But no, this is fantastic stuff. I'm glad you brought it to light for us.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite features. I think it's also worth noting too that conditional logic can help make your forms more accessible because you can shorten the length of them, and that can help. You can also help increase form completion rates, because like the shorter your forms are, the more likely it's going to be that someone actually fills the form out all the way. So it's just a handy tool to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, tons of fields and in complex forms just gives me flashbacks of like high school of like 90 questions on this test. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Who wants to fill this out? So yeah, that's another great point. It's not just about like the actions and the functionality of the site, but really sort of lessening that potential stress that somebody sees in a given situation. emergency contact forms, school contact forms, like these things are, it's important that folks finish it and actually submit that important data. So again, fantastic that you brought up conditional logic. This has been another fantastic session here on the No Code Needed event on Gravity Forms YouTube, where you'll find Dustin every single week uploading content on how to do stuff like conditional logic and all of our great features here at Gravity Forms. Don't forget, if you want to get Gravity Forms at a discount this holiday season, now's the time to do it. No code needed, gravityforms.com. Dustin, thanks for hanging out today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Cole, welcome to the No Code Needed live stream event here at Gravity Forms. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
We've been chatting back and forth on Slack a few times. We haven't done the whole face-to-face thing, so first for me, but it's great to hang out with you and learn some of the who's behind the scenes at some of the great marketing stuff you all do at Gravity Wiz.
Likewise. Same to you.
I know Dave's sitting here watching this, probably eating a leg of turkey right now, throwing his turkey bone at the screen, going, "I'm the guy." I'm the guy. No. We know who the real mastermind is here.
All credit to Dave there.
So, what's your day-to-day like at Gravity Wiz? What are you taking care of? What do you do for the team?
Well, that's a loaded question. I feel like as the marketing lead, I'm kind of I wear a lot of hats. I feel like that kind of goes without saying for a smaller company, but we're doing, we're running marketing across so many different channels, stuff that Gravity Forms does, but also our own channels. And, we have social media, we have a lot of content we run, we have email marketing, we have ads, all of it. And then at the same time, I feel like I just kind of have my hands in a lot of pies, just constantly just touching everything that's going on, everything that's client facing, I'm probably involved in some way or another. So an average day, it varies totally. Like I can tell you right now for Black Friday, it is probably, 1 to 2 hours of almost every channel per day. So it's never just like, I'll try and, focus on one big goal. Right now, we're trying to get some new content prep for Black Friday. We're trying to prepare our ads. We're trying to finalize what our website's going to look like for Black Friday, for example. But it does change on a day-to-day basis. And that's actually what probably keeps it exciting for me.
Yeah, I like a lot of the stuff that you guys do, especially like your case studies, interviewing customers and stuff like that. Super valuable. They're great. Well, like I just said, they're great because they're valuable because you're actually learning something and you're seeing how people are putting the products together. And, they're fascinating use cases. I brought some of them on. In fact, I've seen like a use case come through from you all. And I'm like, hey, can I interview that person for the Gravity Forms podcast? Because it's fantastic. It's fantastic content. So it's amazing to see what folks are doing, with both of our products, right? Being able to do a bunch of stuff, no code wise, like build these directories, job application forms, which you're going to show off today. But people are just doing some crazy things that I've never even thought of. And I've been a customer of Gravity Forms for like well over a decade at this point. People are doing some fun stuff. And I'm sure you see it a lot because you guys have all of those perks that really extend that functionality.
Totally. It's one of the most exciting parts of my job actually is this spotlight thing that we run. There's so many different folks that write in and tell us about how inspired they were from something that we wrote previously that we didn't even think too much about. We spent some time interviewing a customer, we put it up on the web, we sent it out to our customer list, and then we have people writing in saying that inspired a new idea, and that might lead to a new spotlight for us. It's really rewarding to see some of the cool stuff people are building and to see how far it reaches. We have some people that are just like single kind of dev, they run their own agency, or they're just kind of indie developers or something like that. And so it's very small in scale. And then at the same time, we'll see some customers that are applying, Gravity Perks, which is our flagship product suite. They're using some of our perks in some of their builds that are being used by, thousands and thousands of people every day. And so there's a lot of mix there, which can keep things really exciting for us.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. We're going to go into your little demo today. I'll give you a moment to share your screen, little icon down below in the middle of Squadcast. And while Cole is getting set up, don't forget you're watching this live stream here on YouTube. There'll be some links to click if you're interested in our Black Friday deals and our certified developer Black Friday deals, including the team at GravityWiz. Make sure you click those links to get access to those deals. And hey, just like the event, no code needed at Gravity Forms. You just go to gravityforms.com. You don't need to punch in a coupon code. The discount is already there for your enjoyment. All right, Cole's got his screen up. Cole, what do you have for us today?
Alrighty. So this is a fun one. It was a fun one to build, actually, to share with you guys because it comes from a very relatable place. So I'll just start by saying what we're going to build here is basically this job application process that we're going to use AI to help us vet candidates. So this is inspired from one of our workshops, actually. But as the story goes, we actually hired someone ourselves, a content writer, in, I think it was Q2 of this past year. And we ended up getting like well over 1,000 applicants for the role. So, being a remote organization, this is kind of, I think, something people are getting used to, is just receiving a ton of applicants, sometimes low quality, high quality. But the process to find our star candidate was extremely cumbersome. So we ended up finding one. I'll just share quickly. Danny, she's a rock star. We're super happy to have her, and it was well worth the effort. But in the process, it's like this kind of funny story we talk about now, but like I got eye strain going through the applicants because there were so many to go through. And at the end of it, after vetting all these by hand, we use Gravity Forms as part of our application process. So I'm going through each Gravity Form submission. We're trying to find a more efficient way to go about this. And as part of the kind of, redux, a couple of weeks later, we're just thinking like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so one of the ideas that we were exploring was using AI to basically vet candidates. And specifically, we have a plugin, Gravity Connect OpenAI, that we're going to be using for this. So just a little bit of context about Gravity Connect is a brand new product suite of ours. We just released it this year, and the whole kind of focus of this is integrating Gravity Forms with really cool stuff. So you have Google Sheets, Notion, OpenAI, Airtable's coming soon. And you know what? We actually haven't announced that yet. So hopefully by the time this airs, that's going to go out. But otherwise, you heard it here first. We're putting out Airtable as well in the coming weeks, hopefully before Black Friday. And so the idea is lightweight integrations with other products. OpenAI is one of those. And in the case of this product specifically, you can, generate audio using Gravity Forms fields and data. There's actually a heck of a lot you could do with it. We talked about the spotlights earlier. We've actually rated quite a few spotlights on Gravity, on OpenAI so far, and you'll see some of the really cool things people are building within the blog. But coming back to the form here, we're going to apply it to basically the Gravity Form submission process and get OpenAI to just vet applicants as they come in, and hope to save ourselves some time, not to sift through 1,000 applicants manually, just because there is such a spectrum of quality that comes with these. So just to dive right in here, we have this resume. This is actually based largely on this application form, which is based largely on the application forms. I've cut out some of the fields just to make it a little bit easier for us but I'll just show you what that looks like in the back end. So we have this super typical form, just a name field, an email fields here. We've got a file upload field, and then some paragraph text fields where I'm asking stuff that you might want to just use to briefly vet, in our case, a content writer. So experience, education, or skills make you an excellent fit for this role. When you start copywriting for a business, how do you determine your target audience? What makes good writing? All that good stuff. We have a quick writing exercise here at the end. And I've included another one of our perks here, which is called Preview Submission. And this is just going to allow our hypothetical candidates to review the mission before they hit submit. I can show you that in a sec. But once we have that all in place, whatever the case is, you're going to have some kind of application form set up here. And then once you have OpenAI installed and connected to the AI, you just go ahead and create a feed backend. So go to the form settings, add new OpenAI feed. And feeds are basically just customized ways for us to interact with the OpenAI. We have specific endpoints we can choose here. Chat completions is probably the simplest and most common one you see people use, where you just prompt models directly. But in our case, we're going to go with assistants. And assistants allow you to create really just more customized tools or customized model interacting with through Gravity Forms. So I'll show you what you actually have to do in the back end here to work with these. And that is, you go to OpenAI's Playground, which is basically, their backend for how you want to configure how you interact with their API. And you'll have, this tab in the corner. I just, created a new assistant, and you want to set some high level instructions for it. And so in this case, we're creating an assistant that's going to help us vet resumes and the job application overall. So you want to set some system level instructions for this. System level instructions are usually very kind of broad. It's more so like foundational instructions you're going to as you interact with this model. So I've just said, you help answer questions about writing resumes. We've gone with GPT-4o here, and this is an important one. I've enabled file search because we're going to use this assistant to basically read attached resumes and then kind of vet them. So once you have that set up, we'll go back here. You can see we've selected the assistant's endpoint. I'm the assistant that I created, which is the resume wizard we created before. And then we're just going to create a little prompt here. So I have something that's pre-written. View the following submitted information, including the attached resume, and return a single word from the following pool: underqualified, viable, exceptional, based on how well they fit the following criteria. And then I've included some basic criteria to only return just a single word, because that's all we want. And then in the top right corner here, you can select the file field that you're going to want it to read. So we have that resume field we created earlier, just attach that, and now it's going to be able to read that field, the attached document on it. I've also included the all fields merge tag here, just so it has access to everything that's submitted. So I think that's pretty much everything set. We'll just go save settings, and let's go back to this preview here. So now we have, what I'm going to do is just quickly fill out some kind of fake data into this. You can see it's kind of gibberish, and I'm going to attach a bad resume here to this content form. Okay, and so there's previous submission in action, and the perk that I was speaking to earlier was basically everything you can quickly review it, hit submit, and let's go back to here. To do is select the OpenAI Feed 1 assistance, save it, so we can see that it's been marked underqualified here. So you can see that OpenAI has returned the response based on that horrible submission I just sent through that was complete gibberish, which is obviously a very easy use case to show because it's such a bad example, but let's do one now where it's higher quality.
While you're filling out this form and putting in your higher quality stuff, I really like that sort of out of the box thinking on using the default entries page as almost like your lightweight interface, right? Because in my head, while you were filling out this form, I'm like, well, how is he going to show, like, where is that data going to get returned, right? That somebody was underqualified or whatever. And I was thinking, like, now he's going to have to make like another page, but no, you're just using it. You're just displaying that data right inside the already existing entries page, which is really cool.
Exactly. And you can take that and do more with it. I'm going to show you in a second another thing you can do with this, but from page, you can even, I actually used this page at one point in time to vet candidates as well, just going through and sorting them. So it can be very useful if you organize it properly. Okay. So let's say we have another high quality applicant. It's Matt Medeiros coming through. He's ready to apply for the content, ready to roll. And I'm going to choose an exceptional candidate. So you got this really solid, I've just generated these using AI to see if they're going to, they're custom written to see if they're going to be flagged or not. But the idea is we're going to provide some high quality responses here to some of these questions. We're going to see how AI vets them. So we'll send that through preview. We got this in place. Now we can see how OpenAI is going to grade them at 3. Boom. Exceptional. Right on. Okay.
Nice.
So now you can see it starts to work here. Obviously, the 2 examples I've shown you have been a little bit on the extreme end of each, very bad, very good. But we have used this in a couple different use cases where it's been a lot more nuanced than that. So it's not necessarily just really good or really bad. I feel like that's the first question I'd have seeing this is like, well, how does this apply to the real world when someone puts in, an application that is like half decent, but it's not that good? And so if you really do customize your prompting based on whatever you're hiring for, there is a good chance it's going to flag some of these and save you some time. There's actually something else I wanted to show you if we have enough time here. There's a couple things we could do with this. One of them would be, once we have this response, we can, I guess, kind of automate more of the application process. So let's say hypothetically that now that we have it, OpenAI sending through these successful gradings of applicants, we want to get notified if the applicant is like exceptional. Like let's say we only mail or a Gravity Forms notification if they've been marked exceptional. So if that's the case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a single line text field here. I'm going to call it OpenAI response. And we're creating a hidden field to map the response to. So I'll mark that as hidden, save it. And then if we go back to the same OpenAI feed that we configured before, I'm going to rename this quickly, just a resume check here. You can go down here to map result to fields, and we'll select the OpenAI response field. Save that. Once that's set up, I can just create a quick notification here, and let's call it like Excel candidate arrived. I'm going to send that to my email. And then, so the subject might be something like a new exceptional candidate has arrived. And we're going to send this internally. And I think I've pre-written some here. So, hey, a new candidate has arrived. Exceptional. Here's the replication. We include the all fields merge tag, and it just allows a quick look at everything else that they submitted. And then I'm going to make sure that we include the resume by just selecting to make sure that we include attachments. And then I'll just enable some simple conditional logic here and check the hidden fields. And we'll make sure that that hidden field that gets populated is the word exceptional. That looks like it's right. Okay. So if all goes to plan, this should hypothetically only email us if we receive a solid candidate. So I'm going to do, I have my email here. I will once again send through just a quick low quality, arguably spam type response here. And if it's working, we're not going to receive anything. That will know. So you can see we got nothing. And then if we do this again, back comes back. Got your own email and everything already. Exceptional candidate, and then we'll just do the same thing, super quick show up with fires. I'm just pulling these from another document right now, so you can see if the same. Okay, so we got a resume attached. Boom. Let's submit that. You can see this wheel's turning because it's actually prompting the model in real time right now as the submission's going through. Boom. New candidate has arrived. I can check out the resume there. And
yeah, that's fantastic. Do you know off the top of your head, for folks who are watching, do they need, I assume they probably need a pro account for OpenAI to access the API layer and all that stuff, or
actually
idea off the top of your head?
Yeah, so with Gravity Connect, we have 3 tiers of pricing. So you have basic, advanced, and pro. And we actually tier the pricing based on, or sorry, this is in regards to Gravity Wiz and not OpenAI's pricing models.
Yep.
Okay. So
yeah, no, you can, your pricing. Yeah, you can explain your pricing, but I'm all curious. Like, does the person need a paid tier of OpenAI to access this stuff?
They do. Yeah. So there is basically the way that OpenAI's, let's say, their pricing works. Instead of being tiered, it's kind of done on tokens. So it's how you use it and how much you use it. You get charged. So we don't include that in our pricing. So you would actually just get the plugin here. In this case, you would just get, let's say you only want to use OpenAI, one connection here, and you can still get access to all the same features. But we actually do have some pretty solid information on our documentation for Gravity Connect OpenAI that breaks down how the pricing of OpenAI works. But I will say that a lot of plugins that are interacting with OpenAI's model or their API rather, they tend to be, you get charged for the OpenAI API access through OpenAI, and then there's also I think it's like per use charges that can come through from each plugin. Whereas we just charge our flat rate, and then there's what you're gonna have to pay OpenAI. So it ends up being a lot more affordable in the end. But this is what I was looking for: the OpenAI billing disclaimer, which is pretty much all the details. It ends up being very affordable when it comes down to just like this.
Yeah, that's awesome. And and I think for most people who are trying to streamline some of their Gravity Form submission stuff, like you just showed off, I mean, I think for most of us, we're not doing a whole heck of a lot of like data processing, so costs are fairly inexpensive. But on the flip side, like the value of doing something like that, even if you're like you guys were getting hundreds or up to thousands of submissions, I think maybe for the average person who might get dozens, maybe at most, or for some, depending on what you're doing, like even that is going to be super affordable on OpenAI. I mean, probably pennies, if not dollars, to process that.
100%.
And it's just a huge time saving. So yeah, this is fantastic stuff. I love what you guys have been doing with the Connect stuff. It's been great. There's been some other folks in the No Code live stream event also showing off some of the OpenAI stuff that they're building through your plugin. So that's awesome as well. Cole, where can folks go to pick up these plugins? Where can they go to say thanks?
Yeah, if you just want to head over to our homepage of our website once we get it live, gravitywiz.com. You can have everything you need to know about us, including our deals. This is just a preview of what our deals are going to look like during Black Friday, but gravitywiz.com is going to have everything you need to know. Everything's up to 50% off.
Fantastic stuff. Thanks, Cole.
Cheers.
Scott, welcome to our special breakdown live stream here at the Gravity Forms channel this week. Thanks for joining us. What do you do in the WordPress world? Let folks know what you're doing with WordPress, and more specifically, what are you doing with Gravity Forms as well?
Yeah, well, I've been using WordPress since the very early ages of WordPress. And prior to where I work right now, I actually spent 10 years working for Imagely, who make Next Gen Gallery, and a bunch of other products, which after it got acquired, I left the company. It's been acquired again since then. But yeah, so I spent 10 years of my life in the WordPress space as a community manager, as a marketing manager, and doing a lot of education and interacting with different photographers and WordPress users around the world. But for the past now 3 years, I've actually been out of the WordPress space, but I still use WordPress day to day. I use Gravity Forms on every site that I manage, whether it's my own photography and education site or my a real estate investment site that I run for my in-laws, or my karate school, whose shirt I'm wearing right now. I manage the site, and actually, like, new students go and they will enroll on the site through a Gravity Form, stuff like that. So I've been using Gravity Forms also, since it's early ages, and I can't imagine using a WordPress site without it. I can't even imagine using a different form plugin after using Gravity Forms and getting so intimate with it over all these years.
Yeah, obviously, like add-ons. It was sort of like this. When I was doing agency work, Gravity Forms just made me feel a lot more powerful because I could just do all these other things. And this is like pre-Zapier and stuff like that. I mean, certainly when Zapier came along with our Zapier add-on, like you do a lot more with it. But even before that, like being able to connect things up, create content and stuff like that from user submission forms, registering user accounts. These were things that when I was building intricate sites, 15 years ago, this was really, really powerful stuff. It was no code before like that term really, kick-started like a whole movement, of course, online.
Yeah.
And like you have been a customer for, 12 plus years now and an employee. So I still pay for it. In fact, I don't want it for free. I'm still paying for it, just to keep the books clean. But I love it. And it is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
What are you going to show off today with your demonstration?
Yeah. So I would say a year ago, almost 2 years ago, Gravity Wiz released a beta of their OpenAI plugin, and it immediately gave me an idea of, I've been taking a certain prompt format that I had for ChatGPT and running client work through it using like the photography job that I did, using this prompt and manually dropping it into ChatGPT, and then getting the output of an article, which I can then, edit and fine tune, dial it in so it's more my voice. And so I gave me the idea of, hey, I can take this prompt, which is working well for me and for some friends that I've helped, and make it so any photographer could just drop in their latest job, filling in some questions, and it will output 1,000+ word article for them that they can then copy and paste into the WordPress site, drop in their photos that they were talking about, and then do some editing to, again, personalize it to themselves. So that is what I've built, and my plan is to charge photographers for it. Right now, it's in beta, so I'm not even promoting it yet, but it works, and it's cool. It's a beautiful thing that it actually came together how I envisioned.
Yeah, I've talked to some other folks on the Breakdown podcast who use Gravity Wiz ChatGPT connection to Gravity Forms, and Gravity Forms is this like great conduit for that, sending that data. It doesn't even have to be your typical contact form. I mean, it can be the images, it can be structured data, you can be pulling in stuff. Like Gravity Wiz has the populate anything add-on, and the whole world just unlocks once you start to use the tools that they have for this. But it's exciting stuff. I'm excited to dive in. Let's take a look at your demo to show off today so that the users can see how they can kind of build something similar. So let's go into Scott's demo.
So the landing page I put together is just like a quick thing to show everybody, here's your steps 1 through 4 of what you're going to do, a little bit about it. And then, again, this is in beta, so it's not done. My hope is to charge $5 an article. If you were to outsource it to a human to write the article, it'd be a lot more. So, pretty cheap at the end of the day. And I'll show you what add-ons makes this up, because I also take payment. So that's also another add-on for Gravity Forms as well. So it basically starts with a drop-down, and this is more areas. Again, it's in beta, so I'm still filling in different genres of photography, but let's say you're starting with an event, right? Now, this could be a wedding, this could be a bar mitzvah, this could be anything a photographer might photograph event-wise. And you just go through the different steps and you fill in some of the gaps. So what is your business name? And where was the session? So and you can see I give some examples just to get started. So I'm just going to copy what I put there, right? So what month was the photo session, and things like this help ChatGPT change the text based on the time of the year. So if you're saying New York City during winter, your output might be different than New York City during a summer month. Then you're going to give a descriptive word about the style, to make everything more unique to yourself. So I got some pre-made ones here, or you can do an other and just, something that doesn't already exist, and it'll still utilize that. And then when was the event? So here you're going to say exactly what the day was. So let's say it was June 14th. That just passed not long ago. And then you choose what kind of event it was. So let's say it was a family reunion. And what was the name of the event? And again, it's going to ask for the location of the venue now. So now you already put the location for, this is how specific that you're going to help ChatGPT get. Where you already said it was in New York City or wherever it was. Now I'm going to say actually the location itself. So we could say Central Park, right? What's your client's first name? And this is other areas where I need to do some conditionals and whatnot, but where do the bride and groom meet? This is a family reunion, so it wouldn't be necessary. So again, work in progress. So I'm just going to put, I'll put a bar for the sake of this. How did the group propose? Again, certain things are not necessary if it is a family reunion, but I will work in progress. How did the groom propose? I'm going to say at Central Park while riding, what was those? One of those horse rides, whatever they call it. Chariot? I don't know what it's called. Right? I'm going to say a chariot because I don't know what it's called. What was their first date? I'm going to say the same bar. Tell me about the event. So it was a family reunion to celebrate to celebrate 50 years of family growth and fun, right? Whatever you want to see. Share 3 to 5 highlights from the event. So again, just more things to personalize, and you can see everything is required as well. So let's say, I don't know. Help me, give me some ideas of what you think we should do for this. So it's a family reunion. It's in Central Park. Some highlights. Let's say a random dog ran into the party and ate some food. What else happened?
The bride's sister showed up with the wrong cake. I don't know.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. And then I got a typo there. Okay. And then the grandson rolled down the hill into the lake. Okay. Favorite part of the event was the entire family coming together, many generations from around the world. Your favorite photo. So here's where, you're gonna utilize a photo when you actually copy and paste this into the article on your own site, but you're gonna provide the form, just talking about the favorite photo. So, what did I say? The grandson walked out of the lake covered in muddy water. Any additional thoughts about the event? Let's say the sun was blaring down with no cloud in the sky. Okay, so we're going to keep going. And now, after answering all these questions, it asks you for your name, your email address, if there's a coupon code, and then the credit card. And then you hit all done, right? And what happens here is at this point, it's going to take all the information, send it off, and I'll show you the back end of how that all looks. It's going to send it off to ChatGPT through the OpenAI plugin from GravityWiz and send back the information into another Gravity Forms field, which then gets utilized in the email notification that the person will receive with their article ready to copy and paste.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So in my back end, here's all my plugins with just Gravity Forms. And you can see there are a lot, some that I'm using, some that I'm not using. But the ones that are utilized for that for that form in particular are the coupons and the Google Analytics, of course, the pixel tracking for Facebook tracking. If I start doing ads through Facebook, that'll be useful. The OpenAI plugin, currently it's beta 1.14, and then the Square add-on as well. And I think I have the webhook, the Zapier, so that it goes to my email list if they, I use Flowdesk for my email marketing. So it'll go from Gravity Forms through Zapier to Flowdesk.
Cool.
I'm waiting for Flowdesk to open up webhook so I don't have to use Zapier and I can just go direct with the webhook.
Yeah.
All in due time, I guess. So the form is pretty intense. It is a lot of conditionals, a lot of page breaks. If I go to the compact view, you can see the full breakdown a little bit clearer, I guess. But it is a lot of page breaks, a lot of conditionals, a lot of requirements, certain things that are not required depending on the category. And this is where it just takes a lot of time to figure out where do I need to adjust. And, as you saw, even just in this demo, there's some areas I need to adjust. And it's just a time-consuming process.
You mentioned you want to run some like conditional logic against those questions. So if, if they set a certain context of this like environment, maybe those questions change. Maybe you don't need as many or something like that.
Exactly. So this is a very long form as is. And at the end, it ends with that Square. I'm using Square, but we could do PayPal, we could do Stripe. There's so many options that Gravity Forms gives us. But I use Square for my photography business, so it just made sense to incorporate it.
Yeah.
The big one here is at the end is the AI generated article, which is from the OpenAI add-on. So at the end, what we have is basically a hidden field that gets pre-filled afterwards, or post-filled rather, by the add-on itself. And then of course I've got the Square set up so that, and it's just product and service, payment amount is the form total, email, first name, last name, done.
Nice.
And then the OpenAI also has to have conditionals, and the prompt changes depending on the category that is picked. And that's how each one will be personalized for that. And I can share, I don't want to share the full prompt, but I can definitely share that this is a very important part of the prompt.
Sure.
And that is, before adding any text, take out all of those ChatGPT words that they like to throw in there. So I definitely recommend for anybody who's thinking about doing something like this to incorporate something like that into it, so that it's already out of the gate will feel less AI-ish. And then of course the notifications will also be going to the person, and then it's just a very simple email. I'm just reminding them, don't just copy and paste. You need to actually edit this so it's your own voice. And then it takes the merge tag for that last field to then incorporate the final article into that email that they received.
Yeah. So I want to zoom out and just put the whole sort of this whole business idea into perspective.
Yeah.
Busy photographers probably might not be super technically advanced in the AI stuff and the content marketing stuff. And what you're doing here is saying, hey, look, I'm a photographer. I get it. I know what you're after. And I know these different scenes, if you will, right? Birthday parties, weddings, family reunions. I know what people are looking for out of those different scenes. And AI, so content. So now you're saying, well, I'm going to merge these two worlds. I'm going to allow photographers to upload this sort of scenario to my service and give them a well-generated, AI-generated piece of content that, sure, they could go do it themselves, but you know how to prompt the AI. You know the different value adds in creating content. That photographer is not going to know how to do that stuff. So for a small nominal fee, upload this stuff here. I'll generate it for you. You pay me the $5. You get an article that you can use on your site, which will help generate more business for you in the long run. I have that fairly buttoned up.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and one thing, there's a couple of things that prompted me, pun intended there, to create this. One being that I was doing a live stream, and in the live stream, I was talking to someone with an SEO expertise, and we had a lot of people watching, and we were talking about content and how SEO has changed a lot since AI has come, especially with Google incorporating AI into their own results. And I asked everybody who was watching live, I was like, comment yes if you want something like this, what I put together, to exist. And everybody said yes, because photographers love making photos, selling their work, selling their services, and then rinse and repeat. They don't love writing blog content or creating content for landing pages or things like that. So that was the first thing. I was like, hey, if I could help these photographers to do stuff that they dread doing and make it easy, then why not? And I don't need to make a huge fortune on this, because they could go to ChatGPT themselves and do this, but I just want to make the process simple. The other thing that prompted it was there are a few SaaS website platforms that photographers use that started doing this exact thing built into their services. So I'm like, hey, if there's majority of photographers are using WordPress or not using one of those platforms that are future thinking like that, then why not give them something that they could use if they don't have that built into their website platform?
Yeah. And even if it's not this huge moneymaker for you, it is a great lead generating flow.
Yeah.
It's attention awareness. Like, you can still build an email list out of this. And it is a fun product. And it's awesome that you have built it with Gravity Forms and WordPress. You could probably even take it a step further as things evolve a bit more, and you can have them register a user account, and you could probably save that content into the site. They could log into it. They could access it in the future, maybe run other sort of AI things against it. Like, there's some opportunity here is when you get the ball rolling to really evolve it. And again, the cool thing is you're doing it all with WordPress and with Gravity Forms. And of course, a bunch of add-ons, but still very capable platform that you built. That's awesome. Launch date, website, where can they go to get access to this when it's out of beta?
So launch date, I don't know, because it's like a side thing I'm doing from my full-time job. However, if somebody wanted to go check it out, it is available on my website, scottwyden.com. They can go to the photographers page, which is where I have like any ebooks I've written or anything like that, as well as this is in that sort of directory of products that I have available.
Scott Wyden-Kivowitz, thanks for hanging out today. It's been fun.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Jake, welcome to the special live stream event here for the Gravity Forms holiday season. It's a pleasure to have you. You're the master marketer. What's the title that you've given yourself?
I am the Wizard of Marketing.
The Wizard of Marketing. There's a lot of wizards in the Gravity Forms space. I don't know if you ever heard of the company Gravity Wiz.
Oh, you're going to see it today in some of my presentation here.
Fantastic. What do you do with WordPress? What do you I heard you said you were running an agency, scaling an agency. What else do you do in the WordPress world?
Yeah, I mean, web dev is just part of what we do, but a lot of our WordPress development is either migrating people into the platform from other platforms, or helping small businesses have a better presence online. We try to keep it really simple, but we also like to inject some simple features where we can. Gravity Forms is a fantastic tool for that, especially when you tie it into advanced custom fields. You can get really creative with some of your outputs.
Yeah. Your role is running the agency?
I run and own the agency, but I'm also our web dev lead. I've been doing it for 12 years.
Nice. Trying to get yourself out of that role and just become a CEO, as most of us try to do. What's the master plan for that?
Actually, I love speaking. I have a very active TikTok channel. So I'm looking to get on the speaking circuit and talk more about marketing and marketing messaging. That's my passion. And I'd love to do a bit more of that.
You got the Ethos mic, I see, right? Is that what that is?
This one is the Earthworks icon. Love this
the
thing.
icon.
Yeah.
The Earthworks, there's an Ethos, right? Which is just XLR, I think. I don't know why I haven't bought it.
I got the USB edition because you can plug it into your phone. So I'll take this on the road with me.
Oh, very smart. Very smart. I love... I just should do it. Like I always think about it. It's one of those things where I put it in the Amazon cart and I'm like, do I want to spend $400? Nah. I'm like, how much better will it be from the Shure? I actually really dislike my Shure. We're going to take a tangent for a moment here, folks who are watching this. We're going to talk about podcasting. Most of you should be starting a podcast if you're running a small business, selling stuff in the WordPress space, selling your services. Even if you're not going to start a podcast, you need a microphone because you're going to be on a podcast if you're going to grow your agency. Anyway, the microphone is amazing. It's rave reviews, but I just put it in the shopping cart and I'm like, yes, no. And then I stick with this thing. I really dislike this though. Really dislike the SM7.
If I can throw out one thing I love about this microphone is that it is no nonsense simple. You plug it in, it sounds great. There's no EQs, there's no special knobs you got to turn. It's got a volume and a mute right on it. It's fantastic.
It is fantastic. Back to WordPress, back to agency life for a moment. We're headed into 2025. What's your outlook? There's a lot of folks watching this now who are freelancers, boutique agency owners, bigger agency owners. What's your outlook for work for getting WordPress clients? We got AI, we got so much competition. Like, how do you see the work coming in 2025?
I think my biggest note for agency owners, and this is not just specific to WordPress, but to agency life in general, is don't be afraid to stand in a specific spot. I'm not saying niche down, but have a style, have a vibe, have a workflow that is yours. And yes, you are going to have people that come into your pipeline that don't fit that workflow. That's okay, because the people who do, they're going to resonate with you so much more deeply. And those customers are not only going to purchase your services, but actually appreciate them. And I think that that's a huge miss when we're just trying to grab leads as fast as possible. We sometimes float to the middle and we're very generic. So
yeah, that was a big mistake I made when I ran an agency for a decade. And it was something in the early days where you like sort of like cast this wide net because you like literally have to just like get money in the door, get clients, but you should always trying to be like 20% ahead and trying to like optimize that net to be like, okay, these are clients I'm using just to feed the funnel because I literally need to eat. And then you're finding the clients, you're finding the work that you really like to do. And hopefully it's not easy. It's easier said than done. You're finding those clients and then you're just like really focusing on them, in the future. So fantastic stuff.
If you're struggling with lead flow, focus on local. There's a lot of local business owners that only do face-to-face business. It's going to cut out a lot of your competition.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a chance to share your screen while you're setting up and sharing your screen to show off the cool stuff you do with Gravity Forms.
So I got two sites I want to show you here. The first is going to be a local paving company who approached me about building their website, and then getting to know them. They complained a lot about their estimate workflow, how they were handling that with customers. It was all paper. And this is, of course, 2021, everything's digital, and they didn't like any of the solutions out there. And I said, you know what, I can take a crack at this. I know Gravity Forms all right. And so we actually built them an end-to-end estimate and estimate confirmation workflow utilizing Gravity Forms and a little bit of Gravity Wiz as well to throw that in there. And yeah, it's really impressive. Don't be scared at what I'm about to show you. It is a little terrifying even for me, but let's just jump into it here. And I'm going to zoom my screen in a little bit because I got a big old screen. So this is our estimator workflow. And this thing is going to have, I think at this point, we're up to about 211 fields in this thing.
Wow.
Most of it is conditionally formatted to enable the estimator on site on their tablet to load up the web page from the website. So no special apps or anything. And they can actually pull in the lead from their Monday.com board. We generate through Zapier a customized pre-filled link. So this first section here, where they're just filling in this basic information, that's going to come in automatically from their Monday.com link, all through dynamic loading. And then we get into the actual parts of the workflow here, where they're going to pick what type of job it is. And if they pick this job, there's conditional formatting to pre-select fields to show versus fields to not show. So they don't have to wade through a massive list of entries there. And then each one of these sections here is going to dynamically load in additional information fields as they select them. So here, if they choose asphalt, it's going to ask them what is the asphalt square feet, what is the concrete removal square feet. All of that goes into a formula here at the end of this form that's going to calculate everything for them and put that back into their estimate workflow. So, like I said, this does get a little long here in the tooth, but takes time to do it. We actually utilized, here's a fun one that you can steal. We used the signature field. We modified the HTML on it a little bit to use it as a drawing app for them to draw the project out. Wow. So they'll actually sketch in the layout of the project utilizing the signature block from Gravity Forms.
That's really cool.
And then down here they have their final section, which is actually setting up the quote. So what it's going to do is they have the quote price, and then based off of the square footage, we fill in an additional field that tells them our suggested price, so the estimators don't make any mistakes. And if they do put in a price that's below the estimated price, they have to confirm that that's the price they want to put in, as well as being able to give them coupon codes or manual discounts. You can see, again, lots of little bits of math in here that are getting calculated and loading into the output for this. And then this goes into Gravity PDF, another fantastic Gravity Forms add-on to produce the estimate that goes to the customer.
Nice. That is awesome. We had, in this live stream series, we had Dave Smith, founder of Gravity Wiz, and he showed off something similar to this, where he built a custom quoting tool for a lumber company. And these are like the real world, like for an agency like yourself, and like for those who are watching, like these are the real world things that I love that Gravity Forms solves. Like us internet marketer people and people who like live in the web are just like, oh yeah, hook this thing up and shoot stuff off to Zapier, go talk to this API, bring this data in. But this stuff solves very unique business use cases, because I'm sure this contractor that you built this for is probably different than another contractor that you've worked with before, or whatever label their business is. And when we talked about sort of like finding that customer that works for your agency, you can really hang your hat on like this cornerstone, like development, air quotes, with Gravity Forms. And then that next customer that comes in, you've got the solution. And they're like, this is what I've been looking for. And
Absolutely.
That makes your life so much better.
Yeah. And so anyways, the second half of this is that after they get the estimate, they have a link. it sends them to another Gravity form to confirm that project. And there's, again, a bunch of math and conditional fields happening in here based off of what's filled in to present that estimate back to them in Gravity forms. You can see here we're bringing over a lot of the fields from the original one. And then if I can scroll far enough down this thing, you can see here we have all of these check boxes that are dynamically bringing in the fields from previous that are all hidden and presenting them as selectable options. So if there's parts of the project they decide to opt out of, they can actually select those dynamically in the estimate and sign the version that they want. So, wow. And we've got these calc fields down here that this gets terrifying, but
how is this customer, not to get too inside baseball, how is this customer, like, do they have to come back to you and say, hey, look, we're changing our like profit margins, we're changing like our costs? Do you give them direct access to modify this form, or do they come to you and say, okay, rework all the logic with this?
Without disparaging them at all, this would be miles of water over their head. To do. Luckily, I did build documentation on this, so I can easily pass those requests to my team. They can jump straight to the field and make the modifications relatively simply. Luckily, their projects are pretty static. The only thing that's ever changed is really their minimum quotas or pricing per square foot, things like that are very easy to change based off of the calculation fields we have included.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me challenge you for a second. That gear icon, if you click the gear icon in the upper right-hand corner and turn on compact mode, what does this form look like? Oh, look at all those fields. Wow. That's a fun one.
That was a big boy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
But
Sweet.
we ended up saving them probably about $40,000 in software development costs.
Easy. Yeah, easy. That's awesome. You have one more sample for us today?
I do. So this is a membership site with a membership directory being a core component of it. And rather than utilizing a directory system that we didn't find really fit what we were looking for, we actually built a directory and management system by combining advanced custom fields, custom layouts, and Gravity forms for managing it. So I'll show you actually the front end of this really quick, because I think that's the really cool part of this, is that when someone logs into this and they go to their account, this is where they manage their customer profile. And this is a Gravity form. And this Gravity form is going in and actually editing a custom post type that's directly tied to their account. So anyone who joins up, I can also create sub accounts on this. So the sub members also see this form and can update the company information as well. And then that's going to go directly into the member directory page, which I don't love the design of this, but that's another conversation. And all of this is being dynamically loaded through that Gravity form input. We had to do some really fun trickery on the setup of this site when they have multiple users, utilizing a Gravity form on the customer intake to not only create the customer profile to begin with, but then attaching that customer profile to all of the sub accounts. That's done through a little bit of custom PHP tied in with Gravity forms to make all of that magic happen.
Yeah. I love the use case. My friends who run, let's say, membership plugins or LMS plugins don't love it so much that Gravity forms can solve these things. But these are very like unique angles for membership that Gravity forms fits, really well, because, it's like you get a membership plugin and it's just too like in the middle, right? It's too vanilla for a lot of edge cases, whereas Gravity forms comes in and it's like you're building out these input pages, let's call them. Let's not even call them forms. I call them input pages where people are coming in, putting in this information, and then you're querying it and displaying it. And a membership plugin, okay, yeah, it could probably work, but then you'd have all this other overhead like wrapped around it. And I think that's where, Gravity Forms is really great.
Absolutely. And this wouldn't be possible without the tie-in from Populate Anywhere or anything.
Anything.
Using Gravity Wiz, where we're actually populating the choices in this list dynamically based off of what unions are included, what their, contract type is, a bunch of those things. And there's even we use MemberPress to manage the membership billing portion of the system, but we still manage their entire membership experience through Gravity Forms.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's awesome. Jake, this has been amazing stuff. I'll let you unshare your screen. Where can folks go to learn more about you? Where do you want them to go to say thanks?
Oh, excellent. Yeah. I am very active on TikTok as the Wizard Marketing. That's kind of my primary platform, but I am everywhere else, YouTube, wherever you like to go. Or if you want to just chat with me, you can go to my website, thewizard.marketing, and I'm happy to share any wisdom I can with businesses and agency owners alike.
Awesome stuff, Jake. Thanks for hanging out today. Everybody else, thanks for watching the special holiday event here at Gravity Forms. Don't forget, no code needed. Go to gravityforms.com, grab yourself the discount, and continue watching today's live stream. We'll see you in the next session. Hey, Adam, welcome to the special Gravity Forms holiday treat. That's what I'm calling it. It's a holiday treat. It's a no code needed event. You should have. You should have, but you don't. But you're Canadian. You don't celebrate Thanksgiving at the same time as us.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Well, we don't, but I'm going to take the time off because you guys get a lot more time off in.
Oh, I see what it is. I see. Us Americans, the U.S. gets a little more time off, and you're just going to take advantage of it. How Canadian of you! What do you do at Gravity Forms? What's a day to day look like for the guy behind the UI, as I like to say?
Well, I do spend a lot of time in Figma, which is the design tool. Used to use Photoshop before that, but a lot of my time is also researching what our customers need, making sure that what we're building is what they want. So I would say it's product owner, product designer, and product manager type role. So it's a bit of everything right now.
So when we complain about Gravity Forms, not that we do, but if you do have your complaints, you file them and send them to Adam Pickering up in Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
And some Mountie comes and delivers it to you. That's the way that I envision Canada.
Yeah, I haven't seen any Mounties. They I don't know where they are, but they're not around here. But
so we got some amazing stuff happening at Gravity Forms, as we always do. So do our partners, our certified developers, which folks, if you've been watching the live stream today or yesterday, you've seen some of the great stuff that people in the Gravity Forms ecosystem are building. Adam, we've been actively building something called Gravity SMTP. It's available in our elite license plans. It's available in our developer license plan. That is the correct title, right? Developer license plan. Mm-hmm. Fantastic tool. I've been obviously adding it to all of my WordPress sites. It helps with that email deliverability. Somebody sends a contact form in, an email shoots out to either you or your customer who filled out that form, and we're building that bridge to other email services to say, hey, This email is important. It needs to get to inboxes. You might need to track it. You might want analytics. And SMTP, Gravity SMTP, helps you see all that right inside your WordPress dashboard. You're largely the man responsible for designing this stuff. How has it been for rolling out this product? It's new to us. It's a new
It's
product.
actually been very successful. I'm not that I'm surprised that we couldn't do something that's successful, but I've been very happy with the overall response that we've been getting from customers, the amount of people who've installed it, and the fact that we haven't made it super easy to install it, and the fact that people are still, and the amount of people that have installed it, even though it's not as streamlined as it will be in the future, it's pretty impressive. So I'm excited for the future.
2025 is going to be an exciting year for us. Not that we're going to drop all the cards on the table in today's live stream, but making that process easier, more streamlined for Gravity SMTP, Gravity Forms, and other stuff we have in the works is going to be pretty exciting. One of the things about Gravity SMTP is we're connecting up to all of these services, right? We've got Amazon, we've got Google, right? We have Google now, we have Microsoft, and then we have like the traditional like Postmark, SendGrid, Brevo, like those platforms that help send transactional emails. We're doing a lot, and it's all bundled up in this one plugin, which is slightly different than our Gravity Forms approach, right? Like we're building these in not as add-ons, but it's just part of the native product. That's something new, right, for us. I feel like. How has that approach been? Instead of doing the add-on route, like did you set out to say, no, this is just going to be all in one plugin?
I think that's what the market is kind of wanting nowadays. It's like more of a full solution than having to keep installing all these add-ons. Not for every product. Like Gravity Forms will continue to do that, I think, because it's such a giant, there would be just too much functionality in the core product. But things that, it's a tool that does one job really well and it calls out to all these different APIs. There's just no real reason to build all those separately when it can just do it all inside the same product, I think. Yeah. So yeah, people do like the fact that you can just enable something and it's there and you don't have to install it.
I'm going to give you a chance to share your screen. You'll show us some cool things for Gravity SMTP while Adam's pulling that up. It is our No Code Needed sale event this week. No code needed because all you have to do is go to gravityforms.com and you can purchase an elite license level that has Gravity SMTP included with the discount. You don't need to put in a code to get the discount. It's a no code needed event. Go to gravityforms.com, purchase an elite license, and you'll get access to Gravity SMTP as well. Adam, what do you have for us today? Show us the cool things happening.
I wanted to mention that we just did release an update to Gravity SMTP. I think it was 2 weeks ago, a week ago, if I'm right. And also we did a new update to Gravity Forms 2.9. Most people have probably installed that by now. So Gravity SMTP 1.5 brought in new features that I'll just quickly show you. Basically MailChimp. So now you can configure MailChimp as well, not just these other services. They used to be called Mandrill. I don't know if you've been around like...
Oh, I remember that. Yep.
That long. Yeah, it had a different logo and stuff like that. So that was cool. Then we also have now open tracking. So if you go to your dashboard, not that I have anything set up on here, it's just a dummy site. You'll see the open percentage up here. And if I generate if I send it out, you could now see if it's enabled from, I believe you just enable open tracking here. And that, depending on the mail client, some mail clients block certain pixels from being tracked, but most do, and we've done a lot of testing. You'll now see if your emails are being opened by the recipients that you send it to. So that's kind of cool. And it also shows that on the log table as well. So you'll see that if I can load it. There's a new column here called opened, and also in the individual email as well. If you click on that, you'll see it here as well. So that's just.
Can I ask, is Is that an additional like layer to Gravity SMTP and functionality? In other words, like Mandrill's not doing that. It's Gravity SMTP that's doing that, and then we're reporting that data on the dashboard? Or is that a pixel happening in the sending service?
Yeah, so what we're doing is, what we're doing is if you have this enabled, if you don't enable, then it's not going to do it. But if it is enabled, it's going to send inside the HTML. I don't know if it works. I should have to check if plain text emails get images. I don't think they do. But if it's an HTML email, it's going to send in the body of the email. We're gonna add not whatever service you use. We're gonna add a tracking pixel to the email, and then it's gonna if it gets open, then the client will send that data back to us, and then we'll be able to show that it's been opened on the client side. So yeah, it's nothing to do with the integrations like SendGrid or whatever. It's actually our plugin that's doing it.
Fantastic.
So, anyways, future stuff is what you're looking to hear about, not stuff that we've already released. So what I can do is I'll quickly show you some things that are a pipeline. I don't have an exact date, and things might change, but the next major feature is alerts. So there'll be a new tab in this under settings. You'll see alert. This is just a mock-up, so it's not actually a live working version, but you can kind of get the idea of what we're doing here. So what will happen is, let's say an email is sent out to one of your clients, and for some reason it fails. Either the service is down, like SendGrid, and that doesn't usually happen that often, but if it did, it's going to, if it's configured to send either through Slack or SMS using Twilio, what's going to happen is it's going to send a Slack notification or an SMS notification to tell you, hey, there's something wrong with your mail service using SMTP, and then you can go on and try and figure out what the problem is. It's going to give you a reason why it failed. So that's great for those sites. You're running a lot of emails through your site, and you want to make sure it's Black Friday or whatever day it is, and you want to make sure that those emails are coming through perfectly. So this is going to prevent any major issues from happening and alert you if they do.
That's fantastic.
So
what about running out of emails, right? I'm a cheap guy, right? I use the free plans. They give me 0 of 5, or they give me 5 from 0 to 500 emails a month. Would it track that? Like, I know when I'm about to hit my cap?
Yeah, so it will. Like, we're going to give you the response code back from the services. The services. So let's say SendGrid, for example, right? Their free plans, I think 3,000 or 5,000 emails on the free plan. And what it's going to do is it's going to limit your ability to send emails. So it's going to send you a notification as soon as that 3,000 limit hits for the month. It's going to send you saying, there was a service error, whatever the error message is. Yeah. And then from there you can go and upgrade or switch to a different service or use something else. So yeah, that's useful. The other thing that is coming is a new thing called get rid of this. Is called suppressions. Some people call it blocked emails or block list or something like that. And some services some don't. So you're getting a premium feature that some of these services do, like Postmark or whatever do. But if, let's say you're not using Postmark, you're just using Gmail, you're just using Microsoft 365 or another service like that that's free often. Well, now what you can do is perhaps you've got a person that keeps submitting forms through your site or tries to put an order through and then does a chargeback or whatever, and you just basically don't want them to get emails from your site. So what you can do is you can click add suppressed recipient. It's then going to pop up like this, and you in all the email addresses that you have, or just, and then give them a reason. Well, you don't have to give a reason, but you can write a reason so you can remember it back in the future. And then if you were to look, you can then reactivate the email if you'd like, and then you can also see the reason what was put in if you added one, the date and the reason and the email address. So it's helpful for sites that, like I said, could be many different reasons. Block emails from being sent, maybe as a spammer, things like that. But eventually we're also going to do things like you can just put the domain name. So you can actually block a whole domain name. Let's say you don't know all the email addresses associated with a site, but you just want to, I don't like this person. Let's block their whole domain name. So you can do that as well eventually. So this is a feature that we're working on. Any questions on that one? Pretty self-explanatory, I think.
Self-explanatory. Yep. Even a guy like me understands it.
Let me see if there's anything else that...
Don't reveal all the secret sauce, Adam.
This is something that we're on as well, is smart routing. So I think of a reason. This is a highly requested feature, but I'm trying to think of one I would use it for. Let's say I have a plugin called MailPoet. MailPoet is a newsletter sending plugin. It allows you to send out, a whole lot of emails, newsletters, and you also use your site to, send out transactional emails for your WooCommerce store and things like that. But you know that you've got a limit on how many emails can be sent through one of your integrations. So what you could do is you could set up a condition in your smart routing so that says when a subject line of this, or when a plugin of this, please can you send it through Sendinblue as an example here, or like MailChimp or whatever. So what it's going to do is, depending on how you set up your conditional logic, and you can create as many of the rules. I think that's the word. And so that's an easy way to kind of route things depending on what it is you're sending. So can you think of any other?
Could I use multiple services? Like if I was like, I want to use SendGrid here, but all of a sudden somebody like Postmark comes out with something, and I'm like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. Could I run SendGrid and Postmark at the same time and like choose which emails go out of which?
So like what you have right now with our service is you can create the primary connection and then let's say a backup connection, right? So you can have as many, like if it's configured, sorry,
right.
It will, if it's configured, you can set up it as a backup or a primary, right? So you can have two options running at all times. You can also configure them all. Configure any service that, as long as it's connected and it's working, it might not be a primary or a backup, but you can still send. You'll be able to send through the smart routing as long as it's connected and it's working. You'll be able to send mail through it as well. So like you said, like you can have as many of these services up and running, and depending on how you configure it in that, in the plugins, or there's certain keywords that you want to send, only through Mailgun or Brevo. It's hard to really kind of crack down like why people would want to do this, but there's a million reasons why people want to route things depending on what they're doing with their site. So
I got another example, and maybe this is a bit of a hot seat question, but let's say I was using my paid plan at SendGrid, right? I pay for SendGrid, and I'm like, and then I have a free plan at, say, Postmark. And can I tell Gravity SMTP to say, look, all of my donation forms, everybody's sending me money through Gravity Forms, I want to use my paid Postmark plan. But over here on my free SendGrid plan, That's where you can send my my lost password.
Exactly. This is
user registration.
exactly what we're talking. That's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah.
Okay, got it.
You'll be able to do that. Is basically what it is.
That's beautiful.
It's not a new feature. Like other plugins do it.
Sure.
Like
They don't do it our way, Adam.
They don't do it our way. So it's not like it's unheard of or whatever. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Adam, this is.
So I
don't
think
tell me you
that's-
have more.
I've always got more, but I would rather you give you more for another time.
Give us more for another time. This has been great. No, I'm super excited. Obviously I'm biased. I mean, we're both biased. We're at Gravity Forms, but we love Gravity SMTP. It is a no-brainer if you're building websites for your customers using Gravity Forms, because my God, how many times when I was in the agency space, customers go, I don't know where the email went. Where's the email? It's going in spam. Use something like Gravity SMTP to make sure that those email deliverables are going through safe, efficiently, effectively. Get it in the Elite license plan in the No Code Needed event. Just go to gravityforms.com, pick it up. It's discounted by a zillion dollars. Like, we're practically paying you to buy Gravity Forms this week. Adam, thanks for hanging out today. It's been amazing.
Well, I'm glad I was able to come and chat with you guys.